So Elaine Hayes is a secondary assistant principal, and she very much leads on teaching and learning. She is also a network leader for Women Ed England and a Step Up network leader, strategically leading on events and media. And Elaine is a passionate volunteer for a range of sporting events and competitions. And I know she was very much involved in the Commonwealth Games and lots of other events. So really fantastic to have you here, Elaine. And I can't wait to hear you speak. Thank you.
Thanks, Nikki. That's the first paragraph of my speech gone. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. As Nikki said, I'm a secondary assistant principal in an all-girls school here in Birmingham. As you can probably tell, I'm Irish. I moved over to the UK over 10 years ago now, and on an adventure. Very much saying, right, there's no real permanent jobs in Ireland. I am going to move to the UK and let's see what happens. And I am still here. As Nikki said, I do a lot of volunteering, including for a number of different sporting events. And tonight, what I want to share is the whole idea of the Japanese idea of Ikigai. So, the Japanese idea of Ikigai, for anybody who has never heard of this phrase, is the whole idea about this concept for your reason for being. Why do you get up in the get up out of bed in the morning? What is your purpose? What is it that you want to do? And it's also then about exploring this and seeing how can we inspire that in others. So obviously, as we move through our lives, and you look at our students, they would have a different purpose in their life compared to what we would have it as adults, compared to what we say our ECTs would have in our schools, our middle leaders, our senior leaders. It always changes. However, there is some evidence in terms of how effective it is. There's an island in Japan, it's Okinawa. Apologies if the pronunciation is completely wrong. It's Okinawa. And it has the largest number of centurions, so the most number of people over the age of 100. And the whole idea is that actually this purpose and sense of being is what helps people to essentially stay alive because they have something to do. They have that reason why they get up out of bed in the morning. So, for example, like with the elders there, their grandparents, they're minding their grandchildren, their great grandchildren, and essentially knowing that purpose can help add years to your life and also makes you just happier. So for me, when I came over, I wanted to find a school. I came over on an adventure, very much open to seeing what was out there, learning a brand new system, had its bumps, had its major bumps, but overcame them. And I did get lost for a little bit. I was kind of thinking, what do I want? I said, do I want to go down pastoral? Do I want to go down curriculum? And I found that passion for teaching and learning. And that was inspired by an assistant principal that I had been line managed by. So one of the messages I want to go through tonight is looking at, yes, I have my reason for why, but also can you help those around you, especially if you're in a leadership position, to help find their why. So Uta has mentioned about her finding her students their why and getting them to engage. So I've been doing a bit of reading, and there's kind of 3 steps to determine your own Ikigai, essentially. So you make 3 lists: your values, the things you like to do, and the things you're good at. And the cross-section of those 3 lists is your Ikigai, your reason for being. So you're able to kind of visually see that. You then need to find an outlet for this. And I think a number of speakers have mentioned about the power of networking, the power of pushing beyond boundaries, the power of doing things different and experiencing different things. So it's not always about jumping into a new leadership role. Now, I'm fortunate in the fact I'm now in my second city. So obviously I started in London at the start of my career, and I'm now in Birmingham. And I obviously, for me, when people were saying, oh my God, you're moving cities, I've moved countries. It's not a difficult thing. But I have found my why. And as Nikki had mentioned in the intro, I found why I want to be in education in terms of teaching and learning. That is my passion. During COVID times, I was able to find that purpose when I took a massive leadership role. I was a middle leader at the time, but I had the expertise with IT and tech, took that initiative and had that purpose. So it's making sure that when we're looking at ourselves, but also those around us. Are we giving ourselves the opportunities to be vulnerable? Are we giving ourselves the opportunities to network, to find things like tonight, to speak to others? How are we empowering those around us? So being a leader isn't about title, isn't about what you're doing. It's about getting involved. And sometimes it's making sure that you take some time to reflect on what is it for you that makes you the best that you can be, making sure that then if you're the best you can be, then you're inspiring others around you to be the best that they can be. So Ikigai, that whole idea, that reason for being, it's something that I hope that people go in, have a read of. There's a couple of different books that I've looked at. If you want to connect with me on social media, more than happy to chat.
Thank you, Elaine. Thank you for sharing with us. Ikigai, that's really interesting because it does look at the hows, the whys, and the whats, and it's clear that you are clearly informed about what it takes, not just making a great leader, but ensuring you achieve those high expectations, but with passion as well. And that's really important
Absolutely.
about being a leader.